Everyone for coming on to the Proof Daily NFT Countdown. This is the second one that we're doing live. I thought it went pretty well yesterday, so we're just going to keep trying until something happens that makes us not want to do it anymore. But I think this works pretty well. Gonna talk about a whole lot today. Gonna talk about Pixel Vault, which I say here bought Wolfgang, but also did a whole lot more. Also about Rollbit. I've kind of wanted to dig into Rollbit for a while, and that token completely mooned yesterday, up something like 35%. Hoodie sale happened. Let's get right into it. Starting off with a quick market overview. Volumes were up a small bit versus the day before. Nice to see that, as we had a couple very weak volume days. The volume was back in Blur's camp, 78%. So that is a pretty stark difference from where they were. For a couple of days, where they were below 70%. I think one of the reasons is, if you look at this chart, what this chart looks at, that blue line is the percentage of volume that is people dumping into bids on Blur versus the percentage of people who are picking the NFTs that they want. The blue line is the 7-day average. And what you can see is it's been pretty high, but it actually came down for a little while. There weren't bids, and when that happened, then the OpenSea kind of relative market share rose a little bit, but we're back to above 80% of volume being people dumping into bids, and as a result, Blur has a lot more share again. Large cap index down about 1.5%. Had a bunch of weakness in captains, also some weakness in punks. Floor kind of went from like 49 to 47. And then DeGods, a little bit of weakness ahead of their announcement, which they said is going to be at 333. I'll show you that announcement in a quick second. The mid cap index was up a small bit. This has kind of been doing a decent job. I guess in August, it seems like it's been rallying a fair bit. Had some strength in RektGuy, up 22%. A kid called Beast up 17% as well. But let's look at RektGuy here. The floor has gone from 0.5 to 0.75 ETH. I tweeted about it. I wanted to see, when I tweet about something, a lot of times it's because I want people to comment, tell me what's going on. I didn't get those comments, so I'm not exactly sure what's driving this, but we'll take it. Love to see that strength in a project that I think, OSF Mando, love those guys. Cool community they built, and nice to see a little bit of a rally there. DeGods here, you can see this is the log chart, kind of still trending in that range, kind of has come down a little bit from 9 ETH. A couple people have been selling ahead of this announcement, but they did make an announcement of the announcement. They said it's going to be at 3:33 p.m. Pacific time. They have 3 surprises today, one on Utes, one on Points Parlor, and one on DeGods 3. So that's cool to see. For those who don't know, 33.3 is kind of a number that is etched in DeGods lore. The initial tax back in the day that they made on anybody who undercut the floor was 33.3%. So I think that's where this time comes from. Art projects, not a whole lot to talk about here. I mean, there was a ton of Vera Molnar. I saw one guy, Roto, actually swept 5 of those. Chromie Squiggles, there were 2 trades. I'll show you one of those. And then a bunch of projects that did less than 10 ETH of volume. Having a quick look at what those trades were. A Chromie Squiggle, this is a beautiful Chromie Squiggle, traded for 16 ETH. This is an 8 color spread, so nothing beyond that. I think it was really the color spread that made this unique, but love to see that. There was a Meridian that sold for 7.1 ETH, a Genesis by Claire Silver for 7.5, and then a Life in West America, which sold for 5.5 ETH. So second day in a row that we've had a Life in West America after about 3 weeks in a row without any sales there. Second thing to talk about, Pixel Vault buys Wolfgang and a whole lot more. Let's start out with the announcement from Pixel Vault, basically saying welcome to the family. The excited G-Funk came to the deal here, where he somehow managed to buy this property, by the IP behind it, by really the entire project. Now, it's not too surprising when you look at these charts. Here's Wolfgang Farmer. Here's Wolfgang basically for the sheep. You can see that these charts have really been down bad. I think, one of my very first shows, I was talking about how someone traded a bunch of Wolfgangs for a punk. And that was in January, back when the floor just for Wolfgangs was 0.75. Now it's down to about 0.1. So we've really just seen just a lot of the fervor and excitement. And I've never followed it that closely, but a lot of that energy seems to have died away. Give someone like G-Funk a nice chance to go in and buy it and see what he can do with that, with the project. There's a lot more to it, though. Pixel Vault also announced that they're creating Reboot GG, which is going to be a new token behind the protocol. Now, I don't know a whole lot about the old Pixel Vault ecosystem, so I'm not going to pretend to explain it all to you, but GG is going to be basically the token behind this entire kind of gaming network that they are trying to build. Now, here's this guy, Zentis, something like that. This guy, you can read his name here, but he put out a pretty long thread that went through all of this. So people who understand this ecosystem better, who know what's going on with kind of the Pixel Vault, can really kind of dive in here. Talked about how the existing tokens that they have, POW, Punks, and then there's also Planets, how those are going to all get converted into GG, how the team and their position they're actually giving up so that the prior holders can get more GG, goes through the entire tokenomics of what they are building. They also announced that they're creating something called Battle Plan. And I took a few screenshots. This is one I kind of left here. Kind of a game, a Web3 game, battle type game. Another one that kind of reminds me of a little Street Fighter. Seems like people buying or people competing against each other in some fight. Collect, upgrade, trade skills, the different things that you can do with it. And they also announced a complete who's who advisor list. Keyboard Monkey, Farouk, NFT Bark, G Money, Seed Phrase, Richard, Dingling. They kind of just put this massive team together of advisors who I'm sure are going to get part of the token, who probably will be contributing to the success of whatever they built out. And they also created some cool art for them. Here you can see the different PFPs kind of in their style that they created for a lot of the people who have agreed to become advisors. So congrats to everyone there. I think it's pretty cool, just turning everything that they have into a new, it's called reboot. They had so much energy in the past, trying to reboot that, build it around a much simpler single token, building their own game, bringing on one of the best gaming properties in Web3. We'll see how that goes. Third thing to talk about is I wanted to talk about Rollbit and their token dynamics, because I've kind of wanted to learn more about Rollbit for a long time. It's just a massive property that, OSF and Mando will advertise for. They have a show in conjunction with them. You hear about influencers that are promoting Rollbit, but yesterday they announced what they're going to be doing with the token. For those who don't know what Rollbit is, it is basically just like a casino website. They have a gambling casino, they have crypto betting, they have sports gambling, they have different NFTs that make you VIPs there, different kind of NFT gambling products. I went on there. One of the things they recently changed is that you can now do 1,000 times leverage on your betting on crypto prices. Of course, for my screenshot, I cranked it all the way up to 1,000 times leverage, but it's kind of just just a super degen product. One thing I've learned, and I think everyone knows this, but I have heard from people who run FX kind of products like this, like leverage FX betting, that pretty much everybody ends up with zero. So if you're gambling, if you're going on there, somehow at some point, some trade works against you where you end up with zero. Just something to know. The result is, though, that it's a pretty good product for people on the token because they're the ones who are getting the gambling revenue. Here's the announcement about that came out from Lucky Rollbit about what is new with this product. Basically said from today onwards, the revenue from casino, 10% of that, 20% of sportsbook, and 30% of their 1000X futures is going to be used to buy and burn the RLB token on a daily basis. One thing they're saying is that they've managed to thrive several years regardless of market conditions due to diversity of their products. Also because degens like to gamble in good markets and bad. So this has historically been a very good product that has generated a lot of revenue, and now they're going to take their revenue and use that to burn the token. The market responded very favorably to this. Here's the token. It's up to 16 cents, up from 0.05 just a few months ago. So really kind of, we had a 36% rally. Market seems to like what they're seeing, and the market cap is up to $510 million for the token. I wanted to kind of dig into the numbers. They've also created a screen where you can see how much are they burning. They're saying this is our revenue, and this is 7-day here, but they're saying this is our revenue on a 7-day basis in casino, in trading, in sportsbook. This is how much token we are burning every day to make it very, very clear. So in the past 7 days, it looks like, and the data is a little bit hard to download and read. I don't think you can download it, but to really get a feel for it, you can see how this chart kind of went up towards the end. But in the past 7 days, they're saying that they have burned about $710,000 of Rollbit. Kind of wanted to run through the math around there. Did I say seven? I'm sorry. $510,000 of Rollbit. I wanted to dig into the math and see, like, what does this mean for what they're saying here? 510,000 burnt in the past week. The market cap's around 500 million. That's about 27 million burned per year. So just kind of assuming no growth, just assuming kind of a continuation of what they've already been realizing in terms of revenue and burn, that's something like a 6 to 7% yield just through the burn that they're doing. But one would assume and one would hope that a growth company like this would continue to grow and that number would go higher over time. So interesting stuff to see. Here is Lucky again, just saying like that suddenly, the token itself is doing nearly $100 million in volume. He said earlier in 2023, they were struggling to $1,000 in volume for the Rollbit token. So clearly this is a property that is on the up and up. Lastly, let's talk about a few notable sales. A couple things I want to talk about. First is a hoodie CryptoPunk sold for 175 ETH. I talked about Nikolai and Deep NFT Value and their machine learning bot. Always said that this was one of the cheapest NFTs kind of on the overall market when it was listed at 175. If you look at the past hoodies that we've seen, there have been the four most recent hoodie CryptoPunks have sold at 235, 186, 179, 220. So this was really kind of below where the last four have been. I'd argue that it's probably, other than the 3D glasses, it's probably in line because it has that pipe in terms of overall aesthetics. So pretty nice sale there for whoever got it. I know that Punks OTC was the seller. I think he made 9 ETH on the flip, so not bad for him either. In terms of one-of-one pieces, this piece, Coronation of the Degen by King Xerox, sold for 3 ETH. The buyer was Faller.eth. I've talked a lot about King Xerox. He's become really prolific. A lot of sales are coming from him. Glitch artist, kind of a bit satirical about the space in general, but that was the top one-of-one sale on Super Rare, or maybe it was on Foundation. One of the top one-of-one sales over the past 24 hours. And then one more to talk about, this piece called Of Guidance and Grace by Tiffatron, sold for 2 ETH. So congrats to her on that sale. Just kind of having a look at more of Tiffatron's work, kind of all follows a bit of this look and feel. Some of it has a little movement, some of it does not, and a little bit more about her. She is an artist from the East Coast, Australia, creates digitally hand-drawn work. She was a Grails artist, so love to see that. Her work explores themes of identity, emotion, inner worlds, and imagined realities using abstract mark making and expressive lines resembling traditional media to create a sense of movement that draws the viewer in, often leading to the discovery of tiny hidden details. Cool stuff. Congrats, Tiff, on that sale. Love to see it. That is all from me today. I'm actually flying to LA tonight. I'm going to be in LA. We're going to be doing the Proof Grails reveal event on Friday. Can't wait to be there. Can't wait to see people who I've met before, meet some new people. Should be a lot of fun. But we'll be back tomorrow still with another show. Just going to be doing it from the LA hotel room. We'll talk to you then. Give us a like. Tell us what you think in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you very soon.